What's going on, traders? Welcome to this week's Forex forecast. If this is your first time to my channel and you want to try to grow your trading account and learn more about supply and demand trading, start now by subscribing so that you don't miss anything. I think I'm almost at 400 subscribers. Looking to get to 500 by the end of the year. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I appreciate every subscription. Really means a lot. So with that being said, we'll hop right into it. This week's going to be a little different because the COT reports aren't coming out until Monday, I think, due to the holidays in the U.S. So this one's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be going over COT reports. We're just going to be looking at the charts, more of a supply and demand technical analysis, more detailed technically looking at all the charts. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but anyways. So looking at the Euro USD, I noticed if I pull up the monthly chart here, we are contacting this monthly trend line down, which I believe that banks are using to trap retail traders. I think a lot of retail traders are looking to short at this line. Maybe their stop loss is, somewhere up here. Like, I don't know. I never really took trend line trades before I started learning supply and demand, but I would imagine their stop loss is probably somewhere up here. So, I think that something like this could happen where the banks are using their shorts to get in long, to push price above here. All their stops get triggered here, and then we'll see a move down. That's kind of what I see potentially happening on the euro. If not, I could see a move happening down before. It's really all... We really just got to see what happens. I'm not really looking to, take a daily short unless price really breaks below this here. Because this zone clearly has been, holding up price, even though it hasn't really contacted it. That is the zone. So, yeah, I would like to see this daily zone removed before going short. As far as buying goes, I'm not going to be buying on the daily time frame, but there's some potential trades. There's a nice 4-hour setup right here that I didn't take because I just didn't. I thought it was a little risky. This daily zone was not the best. Look at this big wick down or whatever, and we're contacting this daily downtrend as well, kind of the same thing as the monthly. So it's kind of risky for me. I just. This past 2 weeks, I've just been looking for confirmation because I think we're coming up to these big areas, and I think that the banks are profit taking. So I'm trying to look for that extra confirmation, and we're kind of ranging between these two daily zones. So I'm not super into taking anything, and even if this daily comes up here, I don't think I'll still be buying based on the fact that we're so close to this monthly supply. Aussie US Dollar, zoom in on the monthly here. Similar picture, we're contacting that monthly downtrend trend line. It's breaking above, it's still not broken fully yet. And then if you look at the weekly here, we're kind of ranging on the weekly. And this monthly supply, it's definitely not great. It's not really, great move away or anything, but I did want to draw it just in case. So if price does break, what I want to see is for price to break above, these two supply zones on the weekly, then I'll probably start looking for some longs. But as far as the daily goes on the Aussie US dollar, this zone was broken. I'll have to draw this zone a little better. I'll show you how I do this when there's a weird zone like that. So actually, yeah, I'd probably draw it just like that based on the 4-hour. Get that wick in there like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I'd have that weird looking zone, and actually I could probably tighten it up like that. So I would definitely like to see at least this zone removed, because this zone all the way back here, it's really not that important. So if price does, what I'd want to see to go long would be to at least break that zone, and then maybe a nice zone will be forming right here as price pushes up. Yeah, and if price does come down here, I'm not this big wiki zone. I don't like it. I'm not a huge fan. So if I did, it would have to be a confirmation type trade. Go to the pound. Looking at the pound, a lot of similar pictures. Reacting off of this monthly trend line again in this weird looking monthly supply zone. And if you see here, this is a good little lesson here. This is now tested. And why is it tested? It's tested because, I'm trying to see which tool. This candle right here. I don't even know which tool to use, but this candle right here closed away from this zone. See this space in between there? That means that it's tested now. So I do believe that this monthly supply will probably get broken. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, we'll have to see. And even to go long on this pair is a little nerve-wracking, considering we're close to this monthly area of supply. I like that monthly area of supply right here. It's definitely pretty decent. Sorry guys, I'm tired. There was a nice weekly demand right here that you could have taken. But as far as the weekly goes, I would like to see this 50% candle zone get removed before going long. And as far as the daily goes, I don't see anything. I was looking for a 4-hour confirmation inside this British pound daily supply level. The reason I was looking for confirmation, not taking a whole level, is because the monthly was tested and the zone is just in a very ugly zone. So yeah, I was looking for a 4-hour confirmation over here. Didn't get it. Didn't see anything I liked. So I didn't take it. USD Yen. There was a nice trade I missed when I was sleeping here. As far as the monthly goes, we're contacting this tested area again. This is all tested, but still I'm not really looking to short a whole daily zone here. I was looking for 1-hour confirmation inside this daily zone because it was in line with the trend line, a nice supply zone that broke all these lows, this demand down here. And since the daily was on a downtrend, it was with the trend, I was only looking for a 1-hour confirmation. And if you look over here, I'll blow up the whole screen. We had a very nice zone right here. I mean, I wouldn't call it very nice. It didn't even really break this trend line, but nice move away, and clearly it worked out very well. It was a momentum shift kind of type trade, and the reason I also liked it was because it had previously broken this bigger trend line. So then I started looking for shorts, but this happened at like 4 a.m. I think. Yeah, it's 4 a.m. so I was sleeping, so I missed it. But there will be plenty more opportunities. There's even a weird looking 1-hour zone right here. I'm not a huge fan of that, but that is definitely a zone. Nothing that I'm gonna take. I'm kind of gonna stay away from it now and see what happens. USD Cad. We are reacting off of this monthly upward trend line again, and off this not that great monthly demand as well. So I'm not really looking to short at this time. This weekly area has really been holding up very nicely, and there is a little trade setup here on the 4-hour, and it is pretty risky, and I'll explain why. So first, when we're looking at the daily, we noticed that we're on a downtrend. Let me just make these lines a little different. Okay, so we noticed this demand was all being broken here. Trend line's intact. It's kind of a horizontal trend line, not the best, but I do consider this a downtrend based on my rules. But then I looked over here on the 4-hour. I'll blow this up. On the 4-hour here, there was a downward trend line, and price broke. It also broke this pretty decent supply zone as well. So there is a little setup here, and the reason it's risky is because of this daily downtrend that we're in. So it's pretty risky. Like, In reality, you would rather be shorting a 4-hour supply zone, but what I'm noticing is that the 4-hour supply zone that would have been the short broke, and this trend line broke. Is a very clean trend line, very clean break, and the opposing zone was broken. So I like this zone as a setup. As you can see, I have my risk to reward tool here, and I'm gonna be risking like probably 1/4% on this zone, because even if it's a 4-hour zone, I risk less anyways. And the fact that the daily's in a downtrend, it's even more risky. But I'm still experimenting. So yeah, I'll be risking a very small amount on that, just to see what happens. Probably look for final take profit would be up in this daily area of supply. So all right, USD Swiss. We are still in that monthly area of demand. That's weird and tested and wicked all the way down. But something I noticed is that even when price does wick all the way down, it does kind of still hold sometimes. So I wanted to keep it there. I was hoping price would get up to this weekly area of supply. Never got it. This trend line is intact and still reacting off of it. Sorry about the yawns, guys. And then if you look at the daily here, a similar situation to USD Yen. We are on a downtrend. Price, it was intact with this, this trend line was still in play. Broke these demand zones down here, so I was looking for a nice short. I think I placed an order on this daily, and then I took it out because of this weird wick in. That was the election day, I think, yeah. So I didn't want to take this whole zone, and especially since we're at this monthly area of demand. So I thought it was a little risky. So I was looking for a 1-hour confirmation. If you go to the 1 hour, I didn't see anything that I liked. You had one trade right here, and you probably wouldn't have been filled on that. But this was the zone right here. That's probably how I would have drawn it, like that, just to make all the zones a nice size. And I definitely wouldn't have got filled there. So, that was the zone. Broke a demand zone, and broke a trend line. So that was the zone. Never got it, but that's okay. There still is more room to the downside, so it's a little risky now that price is out of the zone to just short. We're coming up to this 4-hour demand as well, so I'd watch out for that if you're looking to continue to look for a shorting opportunity. And now we'll go to gold. Actually, no, we're not going to do gold today. Since there's no COT reports, we'll look at oil real quick. I'll basically show you all the signals that I'm looking at right now. So the one signal that I have, and it's not a trade signal for you guys, by the way, guys. This is not trading advice. I'm just it's just easier for me to put signal, talk about it as a signal for my own brain. Do what you want with it. It's up to you. So my one signal is on USD Cad. My other signal is on the Euro Yen, and I'll explain why in detail. So we'll start with the monthly. We were on a downtrend on the monthly. Supply zones are being respected. Clearly, this supply zone was respected. This supply zone took out this demand zone. This monthly demand zone held, even though it was tested. But clearly, there's been a shift in momentum by the removal of this trend line, downward trend line, and this supply. So it's pretty bullish for me on the Euro Yen. This weekly demand was held very, very nicely here. So the weekly is now in control. And, if price does come down to here, I'm probably going to take a stab at this zone. I like this zone, mostly because of the higher time frames. This monthly, clearly this monthly downward momentum has shifted to the upside. So I think that this daily zone is looking pretty good for a long. So I'll enter here. My stop loss will be under here. And there's a similar setup on the pound, I think. Yeah, similar setup on the pound. But the reason I didn't like the pound is because this downward or this downtrend is still in play. So, you know, I found it kind of risky. And the same thing with Cad Yen. This is another one I'm looking at. Similar setup on the daily, but the reason I didn't like it to just take the whole daily is because we're reacting off this monthly supply still, and it's still in a downtrend. There's been no shift of momentum as far as the monthly goes. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for confirmation inside this monthly zone. I talked about it in the Discord group that what I'd like to see is first of all, I'd like to see this the whole daily zone actually be contacted. It hasn't even been contacted yet, but one or two things what I'm going to see. I really would like to see the supply zone be respected, come back down here, and the reason I want to see this supply zone being respected is it shows me that it's a true supply zone, so that when price does come down to here, maybe it'll contact it, maybe it'll go deeper, maybe it'll come up, range, push right through, right? And that'll be your break of the downward trend line and the supply zone that was respected. And then maybe we'll get a nice buying opportunity here for a nice move up. That's what I would like to see. So basically I'm looking to find a zone like right around here if all of this does happen. Yeah, and sorry, I should have brought up the reason I like this daily zone is because it was a shift of momentum. This downward trend line was in play. We were in a downtrend. Supply zones were being respected. This supply zone was respected, then immediately removed by this huge candle here. Clearly, this is a bank institutions buying. This supply zone was removed, so two zones removed, almost a third zone removed. Almost missed it by a couple pips. Trend line removed. I like this zone because of that shift in momentum. I'm just looking for a 1 hour confirmation to really prove to me that this zone will hold. Like I said, because I didn't want to take the whole daily zone because of this monthly area of supply. Euro Yen, we talked about that one. Oil. So oil, this is more of a riskier trade too. I'll explain why. So oil, we're on a monthly downtrend still. Contacting this weird looking monthly supply, and we're in this month and we're reacting off of weekly supply as well. I talked about this in the group. I was thinking about taking this zone, and then I immediately pulled my order because price was reacting off this weekly supply. Push force down, broke right through the zone, no problem at all. So that was a huge basically a win for me, right? Because I would have lost. And I was thinking about taking this zone as well, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to. I'm going to wait for a price to come down to this daily area. And the reason I like this daily area, a lot of these setups look the same. Similar idea. Downward trend line removed, supply removed. This supply was removed as well. And this is a key zone right here. This zone right here. Very key zone, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that huge push down. Completely broken now. This zone wasn't broken, but I'm not that worried about it based on the fact that this key zone was broken. This trend line was broken as well. So I like this zone for a long trade. That's my signal. I probably won't risk as much since we are up to this monthly area of demand, or supply rather. What I'm going to do, I'll judge my risk based on the CAR reports that come out Monday. That's why I wish they came out on Friday, but they didn't. Nothing you can do. But if they're showing that they are still buying oil, then I'll probably risk, my normal amount on this zone. And last but not least, my other signal. I think I talked about this before. Momentum shift on the monthly for natural gas. Supply is being removed. Coming up to this trend line right now, but as far as the weekly goes, if you look over here on the weekly, this is a weekly setup for me, which it's also technically a daily setup as well. I have orders here right now. Clearly on an uptrend, very nice momentum shift. I like this zone. It removed this key supply area that had a nice reaction off of it, so I am going to be going long in that area. I think I already talked about that one though. But But anyways, that is this week's Forex forecast. I'm sorry there's no car reports. Maybe I'll do a little video during the week or something about the car reports. So, all right, guys, take care.